Hey, what do it, y'all? Swish Entertainment putting y'all tune to all y'all favorite rappers and celebrities alike. But first, I need this little favor done for y'all. First, please like, comment, subscribe to the video, hit the notification bell as well. That'd be great. Search this channel, put y'all tune to this story. Now today, we will once again be talking about the rapper known as Soulja Boy. And today, he's been found liable on many charges that he has been faced with a lawsuit that was filed against him in early 2021. Specifically in January of that year, which will have a woman going by the fake name of Jane Doe, accusing him of sexual battery, assault, and gender violence. The Jane Doe had also accused Soulja Boy of imprisonment as she had alleged that he had held her against her will. Now Soulja Boy today, in this court trial hearing, found himself hit with a $4 million verdict as a result of the allegations that Jane Doe had placed on his name. Soulja Boy's consequences that he is currently facing in his verdict could see an increase as jurors will be asked if they want to add punitive damages to the judgment against Soulja Boy. Jane Doe's representative and attorney Niamey Rahmani will speak in response to them having gotten the victory in this case, saying today is just the beginning of justice for Soulja Boy's victims. We are going to ask for millions of dollars more based on his ability to pay and to punish him for this egregious physical and sexual assault. We're going to be going after weighing his assets, whether he's on tour, whether he's doing TikTok live, he's going to have to pay a significant sum of money. Now the attorney and representative of Jane Doe, Niamey Rahmani, had made the claim that Soulja Boy had attempted to consult him prior to the trial, offering a form of compensation, which was $100,000 in order to have the case dealt with immediately. Soulja Boy was offering this hefty price to have the court trial and case settled and dealt with within the moment. It is also being said that attorney's fees and interest could raise the impact of the significance of the judgment. Soulja Boy, whose real name is DeAndre Wade, was expressive of his frustrations and displeasures with the verdict and conclusion that was reached in the court trial, saying he was deeply disappointed, giving a nod to the verdict that he was the recipient of, saying that it was not based on facts or substantial evidence. The Atlanta rapper will continue on to proclaim his innocence. He has said, "I want to make it clear that I'm innocent." He has said this while reading from his cellular device outside the courthouse. Next, he has said, "I am committed to filing an appeal and fighting for the truth to be revealed." Soulja Boy was also expressive of his disapproval for the Jane Doe to remain anonymous in this court trial case, saying, "Keeping these individuals anonymous while I'm forced to face public scrutiny creates an unequal playing field. I believe this entire process has been tainted by a system that is not designed to protect the rights of the accused." Now, when looking into the statements provided by Soulja Boy, he had given his insight into the justice system potentially being favorable of those that are accusing instead of those that are accused. Soulja Boy had also given his perspective on the accusations made against him, being suggestive that an insufficient amount of evidence was brought up in court to take a stance against the rapper. The Jane Doe, when giving her story on the times that she had dealt with Soulja Boy, claims that she was his assistant for nearly 2 years. She alleged during this time that the Atlanta rapper had committed acts such as battery, sexual assault, and imprisonment towards her. Jane Doe said that these horrendous actions were committed against her on a regular basis. Jane Doe had also asserted that during their time together that they had fell deeply in love and got involved in a consensual relationship. However, Jane Doe had explained that this relationship was hectic and chaotic, saying that it often led to Soulja Boy committing acts of sexual, physical, and emotional abuse towards her. Soulja Boy had denied all these accusations presented by Jane Doe, saying that he had never battered her or sexually abused her. He had also denied ever having employed her, saying that she only served the purpose of staying around him and rolling his blunts. Soulja Boy's attorney Ricky Ivy was also supportive of his claim that she only served the purpose of rolling his blunts. Now, Soulja Boy had been called to testify by Jane Doe as a hostile witness. When this had occurred, he had conceded to referring to Jane Doe as his assistant at a Louis Vuitton store. Soulja Boy is being reported to have been caught on camera referring to this woman as his assistant, which was brought up as evidence in this case. Soulja Boy was also found liable by the jury when concerning additional claims. These claims will consist of sexual harassment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and non-payment of wages. However, jurors did acquit Soulja Boy of some claims made against him, which would be constructive discharge and claims of false imprisonment. Jane Doe, when giving her testimony, had delved into the psychological damage that she had allegedly been dealt during her time with Soulja Boy. The woman during her testification had said, "I wanted to die, I just wanted to go home." Jane Doe claims that when she had first met DeAndre Wade or Soulja Boy, that she weighed 150 pounds, but by the time she had left him, she had weighed 86 pounds. Jane Doe continued on to say, "I didn't even feel human anymore. I felt like an animal." Jane Doe had conveyed that during their chaotic time together that she had different reasons for staying with him and different reasons for coming back to him, and said that she had done this on several occasions. Jane Doe then had alleged that Soulja Boy had threatened to hurt her or her family. Jane Doe, venturing forward into her story, would state that Soulja Boy had carried a Draco pistol around his house, saying that he would try to intimidate her with it. Jane Doe also accused Soulja Boy of recording her giving him oral sex and threatened to post it online. Jane Doe was expressive of her feelings of sympathy directed towards the rapper Soulja Boy, saying that she had perceived him as a stoner and somebody that was inadequate health-wise. Jane Doe next had stated that she had felt more and more ashamed of having stayed with the rapper, yet she said that she felt that she had nowhere else to go. Jane Doe had also provided text messages to the jury in the court trial, which were indicative of her role in Soulja Boy's life. It seems as if she held the responsibility of caretaking for and styling Soulja Boy's hair, making travel arrangements, and supplying the rapper with marijuana and fast food. These text messages will consist of Soulja Boy saying to the anonymous Jane Doe, "Why the mess is you not answering the phone?" Soulja Boy had also texted this woman in the month of March in 2020 saying, "All I'm trying to tell you, grab McDonald's." Within the following month, he had said to her, "Forget you, girl. I hope you die slow." Other messages would show the rapper being apologetic to his former partner, saying, "Babe, come back, let's talk seriously." He had also said, "Are you okay? I'm sorry, I love you, please call." Another message, which would be the final one being discussed, will have the anonymous Jane Doe saying, "You think you can keep hitting on me? You are crazy." So this text message could be indicative that the former couple of Soulja Boy and Jane Doe had went through domestic abuse at some points down the line. Soulja Boy's attorney and representative had spoken in defense of his name, saying that Jane Doe's story was fraudulent. He had also asserted that Jane Doe was motivated by bitterness and greed. He can specifically be quoted as saying she wanted to be paid, which is what this case is all about, because it's not about the truth. Jane Doe's attorney, Niyama Ramani, has said that Jane Doe had felt vindication when it comes to the verdict that was issued. Niyama Ramani can be quoted as saying, because he called her a liar, he said she was never an employee, nothing more than a disgruntled, jealous, lying ex. And I think the jury rejected that argument. Now take notice that Jane Doe's attorney has spoken on Soulja Boy saying that Jane Doe had deceived the court when saying that she was never an assistant of his, which is a claim that could very likely be dispelled, as we previously reported that Soulja Boy had been caught on camera referring to this woman as his assistant. Not only that, but Soulja Boy, as we had previously stated, had conceded that he referred to this person as his assistant at least once at a Louis Vuitton store. So Jane Doe's attorney has shed light on a focal point where Soulja Boy had made a statement that was not truthful when concerning Jane Doe. So with that being said, Soulja Boy was not necessarily found guilty, however was still punished and issued a hefty fine. Soulja Boy maintains confidence that he will be proven innocent and that evidence will emerge in his favor. But yeah, let's go. Cap out this video and let y'all think in the comments. What do you all think of Soulja Boy being hit with such a hefty fine, which totals out to $4 million? How do you feel about the verdict that was made in the court trial working against Soulja Boy, despite there being limited evidence that was publicized in this court case? And to cap that off, do you all think that Soulja Boy can end up facing serious charges, given the severity of the accusations made against him? Let all that be known in the comments, y'all. That's gonna do it. I'm out.